Just your quick reminder that people often talk about you because they lost the privilege to talk to you. So keep doing what you're doing and give them something to talk about.
I saw this girl in here talking about how important it is to be friends with people that are happy with themselves if you're happy with yourself. And like if you're successful, you need to also have friends who are successful. I cannot stress enough how fucking important this is. My entire life I've struggled with having friends, and I never understood why, because I was always doing so much in my life and always trying to uplift the people around me by giving them opportunities, by teaching them things, by just like trying to share the abundance and blessings. And because I was trying to give them something that I had, or teach them something, or help them in some way, they would always resent me, and I never understood why. I always was so confused. Like, I love my friends so deeply, I want to just constantly be giving to them, so why the fuck do you treat me badly? Type shit. Now I realize after watching that video, it's because I consistently try to be friends with people who are not happy in their lives, and it always turns out to become a projection thing where people are just constantly upset with how much I'm doing, or how happy I am, or how confident I am, and it always just ends in me being hurt at the end of the day. So that was one of the most valuable things I've ever seen on TikTok, literally. And I'm just here to vouch that that is 100% the fucking truth.
90% of the time when a friendship ends, it ends because someone cared more than the other person. And that is a fact. Okay, I am going to be 30 at the end of the year. I know what I'm talking about. Half of the time it's because one person cared more than the other person and no one really fought for the friendship, and then everybody just went their own ways. It's really important to know your place in someone's life. I think we get so caught up with like having friends, wanting friendships, like having that. It's so nice to have friendships. However, we save ourselves so much disappointment and friendship heartbreak, which really sucks, when we know our place in someone's life. If someone isn't giving you what you're giving them, you need to step back. Even if you love the person, like you love them, you love hanging out with them, you love being around them, they make you happy, they're funny, blah, 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 blah. Like you have a good time whenever you talk. It's really important to know your place, because if you don't, you're going to get caught up in like this friendship or something that you think is friendship. And that person might just be a nice person. That person might just treat everybody the same way, but they don't see you anymore like better than the other person. Get me? So I think it's really important to just know your place, save yourself the disappointment. You can kind of tell when someone's giving you the same energy back that you're giving them, putting in the same efforts. And if they're not putting the same efforts, then like slowly step away. You don't have to stop being friends with them. You don't have to stop talking to them. You can talk to them, you can be friends with them. However, don't get wrapped up in that friendship or what could be a friendship if they're not also putting in the effort. Trust me on that.
My hot take on friendships. The truth is, real friendships don't require constant maintenance. Life gets busy, people grow, but the bond should still feel easy. If a friendship requires nonstop effort just to survive, it's not as strong as you think. Friendships don't crumble just because you go a little while without talking. The right friendships pick up where they left off. No guilt, no pressure, just mutual understanding. Not about how often you check in. It's about knowing you'll always have each other when it matters.
There's a difference between being absent and being busy. My best friend said something that I will literally think about until the day that I die. She always says, interconnectedness is everything. I think about this all the time, that female friendship and reciprocity is like one of the most enriching things that a woman can experience, especially in your 20s. Having women that you can grow with is like a type of currency that you can't like find anywhere else. And I don't believe in friendships that only exist when it's convenient. And I think that there's a specific type of grief processing a relationship that sort of ends without any sort of declaration or any sort of announcement. Like it just becomes something different. I feel like once you experience the type of reciprocity that like really changes your life, it's really hard to form new relationships with people without that filter. And like it changes completely what you're willing to accept and what you're willing to tolerate. And in a way, that's like a really beautiful thing. And it's not about constant closeness. Like that's impossible and nobody wants that. But staying present with your friends keeps this sort of like undercurrent constantly on like a low burn. And it's not about proximity or time or anything. No matter what you call it, not checking in or not being there when your friend needs it, or that's like a silent withdrawal. No matter what you want to call it, it's like consciously choosing to like step back and not be present in a relationship. And I experience a lot of ambiguity with that type of dynamic. Like it just doesn't sit right with me. And I just think like this time of year going into the new year, check in with your values and see where you align and where you misalign. And I think that if you're in a relationship or a dynamic with someone, male or female, honestly, and you feel like you're the one constantly checking in, or it's one-sided, it's sort of like a power dynamic in a weird way. Half-assing a relationship is like, it's not a relationship at all. It's a hollow experience to try and feed it. And I think your life like can really change when you stop, and that type of grief is really hard and it's long. And oh, that's my oven. Anyway, I think 2026 is the year to choose relationships that also choose you back. Just food for thought.
I feel like categorizing my friends has saved me from a lot of disappointment. What I mean by this is like some people are strictly for going out and catching a vibe, and some people are strictly for going to exquisite dinners and just having a nice talk. Some are great for traveling, and some, you know, you can't travel with at all. And you have those special ones that you can literally do anything with and you could bring in any room. Those are like the best. But you have to stop putting people in the same box, because not everybody can go everywhere. Like you can't bring certain people everywhere, and you can't take certain people to certain places. So save yourself the trouble.
I heard this term from this girl on TikTok and it made so much sense to me. It's called quiet quitting a friendship. You can only give so much to people who are not reciprocating the same energy back to you. I'm in my 30s and I have learned a lot about friends over the last few years, and I've definitely had a handful of friend breakups. It is so hard to find good friends, and honestly, we're at a time in our life where we just like don't have time for bullshit anymore. And I also feel like some friends just have crazy expectations, and you just kind of get to a point where you realize that like maybe you aren't aligned anymore. And breaking up with a friend is like weird, because it's not like a romantic relationship where it has to end because you're seeing other people, but it kind of just has to slowly fade because you're realizing that you're not prioritizing each other anymore. I think the hardest part about friendship breakups is that they're not treated like actual breakups. So most of the time we don't have closure conversations, even though I know that closure comes from within. But usually when an actual like romantic relationship is ending, you have like multiple conversations leading up to that event happening.
I think one of the biggest signs you're outgrowing someone is every single time you guys hang out, you guys only talk about nostalgia and past memories. And that's not to say that you don't talk about that stuff with your friends. Me and my friends still kiki kaka about stuff that happened in middle school, but it's when you have this like realization that you kind of can't tell them your current life updates, because this version of themselves won't really resonate with that. So it feels like the only topic you guys can talk about is stuff from the past. I had this realization myself where it felt like I couldn't really tell this person my life updates because it felt like this version of themselves wouldn't get it. And every single time that I would try to like force myself to tell them, I kind of just didn't like feel safe or comfortable. And that was one of my biggest indicators that this might not be the best connection for me anymore. Or you guys talk about stuff that you don't really resonate with anymore. For example, like this person would always talk to me about clubbing and like going out and stuff like that. And like I had a going out phase, I had a clubbing phase, like don't get me wrong, I was a party animal back then, but I just didn't really have any interest in talking about these people, about these frat parties, about these boys, because it's like I kind of like don't give a fuck anymore, and it just felt like they were still in that stage. And that's when I kind of had this realization that wow, like I think we might be on different paths, and I think we might be outgrowing each other, or at least me outgrowing you. But even though it's the best thing to do for yourself to let these connections go, it's never easy to outgrow a friend, because that just means that you guys are not going to be as close anymore, or you guys aren't going to be friends anymore. You guys know me. My favorite saying is out with the old, in with the new. The more space you make for new people and new friendships and new connections, then they will come.
Let's talk about 6 signs that you've outgrown your friendship. I want to preface by saying it's okay to outgrow friendships. It's just a part of growing up, and sometimes you just have to come to terms with that. Number 1, neither of you are making time for each other. Here's the thing, if you genuinely want to spend time with someone, you will make time for them no matter what. So if you guys start to notice each other not doing that, it's a clear sign that you guys are kind of outgrowing each other. Why is my arm... Too much. Number 2, you feel drained after being around them. You know when you leave like a really good hangout and you kind of feel euphoric? That's how it should be when you're leaving like a hangout with a friend. And when it starts to feel very draining and negative, that's when you start to know, okay, should I still be friends with this person? Number 3, you guys aren't staying updated on each other's lives. I don't care where I am or how busy I am. If I am best friends with somebody, I stay updated on what the fuck they're doing. Like, you should be knowing what's going on in your friends' lives, and you should be staying up to date if they're going through anything or if you should be there for them. Number 4, you guys both damn well know that your friendship needs a lot of work, but neither of you guys are really putting in the work to do that. At this point, you guys both know that the friendship is kind of turning into drama, and do you even really want to deal with it, or are you guys just both over it? Number 5, they don't align with your mindset or morals anymore. This is pretty broad, but for example, let's say you're on like your hustle grind and you're staying in every night working on yourself, and they're just not doing that. That's a sign that you guys may have grown out of each other. Or morally, let's say they're cheating on their boyfriend or doing a lot of drugs, something like that that you're just not comfortable with. And number 6, you don't get excited to hang out with them anymore. You should feel genuinely excited every time you're about to hang out with that person, and if you're not, that's a sign, honey. Anyways, this is the final makeup look. Mwah, love you guys.
Your friends should make you feel loved and supported and safe no matter what. Okay, like even if you say something
3 things I would never tell my best friend. Number 1, if she breaks up with her boyfriend, I'm never going to tell her I hated him from the start, because chances are they're going to get back together. Number 2 is I'm never going to tell her what she can or can't do. She's a grown woman. She can make her own decisions. Am I going to advise? Yeah. But is she going to listen? Probably not. Number 3 is I'm never going to tell her that she's asking too much. She's entitled to know all the little details. There is no such thing as TMI.